Good afternoon, oh nobly born. You have to, a little bit of a response, thank you. That was mostly from my family and friends over here. I appreciate that. So what's up with not answering to nobly born? Has no one ever told you that you are noble? That you're nobly born? Anybody? Hands up. Ever been told you're noble? Okay, students, family, and friends over here. I see you. Yeah, oh, yeah, do I know you? Oh, there you are, Mimi. Hi, honey. Yeah. That's really a very sad thing. Let me get this thing to go. Ah, there we go. I'm here to talk with you about nobility here in the age of destruction. We're in the age of destruction. I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But the notion of our nobility is something that we must embrace. And I know most, if not all, people are like, what, me noble? Come on, that's only for special people, right? You have to do something special. Well, I'm here to tell you that no, that is really not the case. We need to reimagine what it is to be a noble being. So those of you who are having a little trouble getting your head around the idea of being noble, let's take a look at what it looks like. I'm going to do a little voodoo dance over here there we go, okay. So every semester, the first day of classes, I hit my students with this. I say, good morning, oh nobly born. And I get crickets. And I get deer in the headlights. And I get confused puppies. It's like the whole animal kingdom right in front of me. But certainly not a word. And I say, what? Hasn't anybody ever told you you're noble? And I'm like, no, not me. So I say, okay, all right. I write nobility up on the board. And I was like, okay, give me some characteristics of a noble person. And they give them to me: courage, honesty, kindness. The young lady who was just here, Kristen, a noble being, most definitely. So please look at this list and tell me if you are completely devoid of any of these characteristics. If there's something you've never done, that you are incapable of doing, you just simply do not have within you. Okay? If you cannot deny that, if you can look at these and say, oh, no, I don't have any of these, and I would say, well, are you human? You know, and if you're not, welcome. We will not take you to our leader. It wouldn't, I don't think it would be good for anybody, actually. So look at this and tell me you're not noble. These are the traits of a noble being. But still we reject that idea. Why do we reject that? It's something that we need to know, and yet we still just can't get our head around it. There are several reasons why, and all of them are conditioned. Socio-cultural conditioning, social fictions, as Alan Watts calls it. So the first of which is, I find the main perpetrator of this, the main culprit, is advertising. Advertising's sole purpose is to tell us that we are inadequate and that we are incomplete, unless we buy their shit. Then we will feel complete, then we will be fulfilled, then we will be happy. What the Buddhists call the delusion of happiness. This notion that we can take happiness, something from the outside, and bring it to us and become happy. And that's actually a confusion of pleasure and happiness. Pleasure is fleeting, it's impermanent. We know this. But happiness has an enduring quality because it is an aspect of our being. It is part of who we are. It's not something we can take from the outside and put into us. Any of you, all of you, probably know this already. Maybe not consciously, but think about it. How pleasure and happiness are not the same thing. The second thing we have is kind of our hieratic notion of our social construct. That the notion that some people are better and more deserving than other people. These people who are better are born into families that are royal, that have a great deal of old money, perhaps, or somebody who's terribly heroic, who's saved an entire orphanage full of children from a burning building. That's a noble person, but not me. I haven't done those things. I was born into just a regular old middle-class family. How can I be noble? Let me tell you a story. Oh, wait, before I tell you a story, I got to remember this last point. Okay, this last delusion that we have is the delusion of separation. This notion that we are these isolated egos inside bags of skin, just kind of bumping around this world and not really connected to anything. I'm doing my own thing. It doesn't matter what I do. I can hurt myself. It won't hurt anybody else. I call bullshit on that one. Okay? We are interconnected. We are interrelated. But we are told, we are taught that we're not, in overt and covert ways, in subtle and gross ways, that we are separate when we are not. So now I'd like to tell you a story. We'll see if this will work. Oops, don't go yet. Yeah, yes, this is the one. Okay. So, Prince Siddhartha of India, in northern India, rejected his royal inheritance and left his home to wander in the wilderness as a mendicant monk in order to find enlightenment. After 6 years of wandering in the wilderness and working with 6 teachers who taught him how to punish his body so that his soul would be released, would achieve moksha, or mukti, which is liberation, he nearly starved himself to death. Such austerities and self-mortification he brought upon his poor body. He was nearly dead from starvation, from extreme fasting, when a kind young woman named Sujata brought him back to life with a lovely little bit of rice pudding. Who doesn't love rice pudding? A little cardamom on the top. Anyway, so the Buddha, he's not the Buddha yet, Siddhartha comes to his senses, finally with a little bit of nourishment in his body, and he says, you know, the 6 years that I have punished myself have brought me no closer to enlightenment than my years before that in living this life of indulgence and luxury. There must be a middle way. So he sat himself down underneath a bo tree and he said, I am not moving until I attain enlightenment. Now, any of you all who have tried at any time in your life to meditate or to just quiet your mind know what it's like. You will be attacked by your ego, by your thoughts. It's like, what about this? What about that? I've got exams and papers and projects and so much to do. I can't sit here, I have to do, right? Siddhartha was no different, a human being. So as he sits there, as you can see in this picture, the armies of Mara, bless you, the armies of Mara crowded around him. And for days they raged against Siddhartha. They sent all their fiery darts of jealousy and of lust and of greed and of boredom, of hunger, of everything they could. And every fiery dart that came with him did not touch him. Before it could, it poof, turned into a flower petal that fluttered about his feet. Finally, after days of the armies raging about him, they withdrew, exhausted, in defeat. But Mara, the demon, was not done with him yet. He stands over the Buddha and he says, he's not the Buddha yet, sorry. He stands over Siddhartha and he says, so, Sid, if that's your real name, you've defeated the armies of Mara. Flower petals were a nice touch. You must think you're something pretty doggone special now, huh? Oh, I defeated the armies of Mara. Ooh, look at me, first to gain enlightenment. You're not enlightened. You will never be enlightened. You do not deserve enlightenment. Who do you think you are? What did you do? You broke your father's heart. You throw away your royal inheritance. You go off to live as a homeless beggar in the world. Look at your mom. She's still crying about that. You abandon your wife and your young child, your baby whom you named Rahula. Rahula means what? Like handcuffs. You know, start saving for therapy now, dude. And lastly, you rejected your dharma, your caste duties. All of this, and you think you're worthy of enlightenment? I don't think so. I know enlightenment. I'm the most enlightened demon in the universe. Believe me. You're not worthy of enlightenment. So just pack up your little bowl and your saffron robes and get on out of here. Loser. You're a loser, and everybody knows it. Through all this, Siddhartha sat unmoved and unmoving. When Mara folds his arms and he waits for the poison of his words to seep in. Without saying a word, without engaging Mara, without looking at him, without arguing with him, without struggling, he reaches his hand down and he touches the ground. And he says, the earth testifies for me. The earth testifies for me. And just then there's this vast earthquake, and the earth opens up, and the goddess Prithvi rises up from the depths, and in a thunderous voice that fills the heavens, she says, I testify to thee. I testify to thee. And in that moment, Siddhartha became Buddha, one who is awake, and Mara was vanquished. Curses, foiled again, poof, disappears in a puff of stinky smoke. Never to be seen. The Buddha, the new Buddha, turns to Prithvi and he says, thanks, Mom, that was awesome. And she says, right on, son. Now go do the voodoo that you do so well. And he went off to give his first sermon in the Deer Park in Benares, where he turns to his new followers and he says, O you of noble birth, O you of noble birth, the earth testifies for you. So, kind of, what is this whole earth testifying for me thing? Okay, let me give you a little bit of clarification on this. Think about the earth. I'm going to set this down because I don't need it. Think about the earth, the universe in its vast intelligence, in this great force, brought together all these little bits of stars and stardust and busted up planets and mashed it all together into this wobbly sphere. And it turned around and it was molten rock for a while, and then it cooled, and then the grace of liquid water appeared. And the geosphere, the primal substance, the sacred rock called Inyan by the Native Americans, burst forth in life. The geosphere gave birth to the biosphere. We are of that earth. We are not separate individuals in the earth instead of a special action of the earth. We are that special action of the earth. It is our mother. She is our mother. She who gives birth to us, who sustains us throughout our lives, who takes us back into her body when we're finished with this one, for a period of rest before we arise in a new form. The earth testifies for us. We're not separate, not at all. And this earth, this noble earth, the universe itself conveys that nobility to us. Now, you may think that this is some kind of, often people will think that this is an opportunity for self-aggrandizement or ego inflation. Not at all. Nobility is a huge responsibility. Refer to the term noblesse oblige. Noblesse oblige is the obligation of the nobility to act like it, to behave as a noble being. Now, usually it's between, in this social fiction of better than and less than, superior, inferior, where the superior noble beings deign to be generous and kind to those who have created their wealth for them. But I say we level the playing field and say noblesse oblige is an obligation of all of us to behave from our nobility. All of those characteristics that were written before, concern for others or social conscience, that is noblesse oblige, our obligation to be noble. This is the time we must do this, for we're in the age of destruction. This is the Kali Yuga. In Hindu dharmic teachings, the earth or the world moves in a series of ages or yugas within a vast cycle called the Mahayuga. At the top is the golden age, the Satya Yuga, where humans are 100% good. It's our Edenic paradisal beginnings. Then we start to fall into greed and anger and ignorance, and that ends the golden age and ushers in the silver age, where we're only 75% good. We go through the silver age for a while, and we fall more and more into greed and anger and delusion, and we move into the bronze age, where human culture is declining rapidly. We're only 50% good now. After the bronze age comes the Kali Yuga, the iron age. The Native Americans say, the Native Americans have this same cycle, interestingly enough. Native America, India, the same cycle. They say it is the Iron Age because we've become hardened. We've become hardened and forgotten who we are. We have forgotten our interrelationships with all of life, with each other, with the earth herself. We've become so hardened that we can no longer feel the subtle vibrations of nature speaking to us. We cannot hear her voice as she cries out. we are destroying our environment. It is a symptom of our illness, a symptom of the Kali Yuga, of our greed, of our ignorance. The Kali Yuga is characterized by war and corruption and rampant greed and environmental degradation and mental health breakdown. This is the Kali Yuga. This is the age of destruction. Now, fortunately, the ages do continue to move, and we will move out of the Kali Yuga back into another Bronze Age, and then into a Silver Age, and then into Golden Age. That is, if we survive the Kali Yuga. If we continue on, and you all know this already, if we continue on the course that we are doing right now, we will not survive the Kali Yuga. I say that one of the most important things we can do in order to help humanity not only survive the Kali Yuga and participate in humanity's ascension back through the Mahayuga, that we must embrace our nobility, to embody it, to cultivate it, and to encourage that cultivation, to water the seeds of nobility in everyone, to see this earth and all beings on this earth as sacred and worthy and noble. The time is now. Now is the time. My friends, I will leave you with a Sanskrit word that translated literally means I bow to you. But it has a deeper layer of meaning than just I bow to you, I, Lori, bow to you all. It is saying that I, the noble being that is I, bows to the noble being that is you in mutual love and respect. My noble friends, to all my relations, namaste.